we embark on the war against alcohol and drug abuse, I want to state very clearly that there's a big challenge ahead of us, and we have already started feeling the heat. Because, like you have rightly put, it is not only the teachers who are supposed to fight this war, it is all of us. But very unfortunately, you find that there is even a parent who himself is worse than the child. There's a parent who is already a bangi smoker. So when you invite him to handle a situation like that one with the students, or with an affected student, you don't get much. Besides, like some of us who come from certain communities where certain substances are produced, we are getting serious confusion arising out of the same. There are some of the people, for example, where I come from the miraa growing zone. I have been educated using the miraa. I also chew miraa because I'm an old person. You know, zamani wazee walikuwa nakula miraa na wakuwa nakubali watoto wakule miraa. And this is what actually at Nkubu High School we are advocating. We are discouraging underage chewing. But very unfortunately, some of the people out there imagine that because the miraa topic has been captured in our policy document, our key purpose is to fight miraa. That is wrong. That is, I think, very, very cheap, very petty, and diversionary. They want us to stop the war against drugs in our schools. And actually the key focus and the scope of our policy document, we are not bothered about what people are doing out there. We are not bothered about people who are chewing miraa there or drinking illicit brew or smoking bangi. The scope of our policy document is quite clear that it is supposed to deal with the students at Nkubu High School only, not anybody out there. It is not within our mandate to be worried about one. So that's the challenge we are getting. But I hope with the time, people will be able to be roped in and understand that there's a difference between the war against drugs amongst our young people and the war against other substances that may have been regarded as drugs.
Thank you. Thank you.
Principal for the Abraham Boys High School, Naivasha, and I'm very, very happy to be invited here, especially to launch this ADA program. I think at the end of the day, awareness of drugs in schools is something we have to accept. It's a monster which is there. It's a monster we are going to fight, and so we need support from the society, from the government, because I believe that our children are getting into drugs because of lack of awareness and guidance. So if we arm them with necessary information, the dangers of the drugs, and then we work with them, because we cannot afford to be chasing away those with the problems. So let's accept it is there, and we work with these children, because at the end of the day, it's all about them. So I like this initiative, and in Naivasha I'm doing that work, working with those boys, especially those with addiction of marijuana. And I've managed, for the group that I've been having, I've managed to save around 80%. And 80% save within 1 year, I think it's good. I think it's a start. But what is important especially is for the parents to be more active, to know more about their children. Because sometimes when you tell the parent your son is smoking marijuana, your son is taking drugs, normally it's hard for them to accept. So that's why we developed that reagent, so that the parent, we can have a clear way. It's not a question of speculation, because once you get a boy smoking marijuana, the parent would ask, where is the proof? And we don't have any proof. But now, after developing that reagent, so we test, you're either positive or negative or exposed. You are working with people who are smoking marijuana. And with that proof, now we were able to bring the parents to our side, so that now I can monitor the boys in the school, and the parents can monitor their boys when they go home. And at the end of the day, what these boys need and girls is love, is to be understood. They need somebody to walk with them. We cannot afford to put a stigma on them or to condemn them. Yeah.
Okay, what can you say of such initiatives? And do you think such initiatives have been started?
My name is Silas, and I've been the chairman of the policy draft committee, and also the committee that prepared for the occasion. The occasion is basically to launch that policy document so that they can be used by the school. It is to assist the students and the members of staff to live and write free life, so that they can be productive and live happy lives. I think when it is applied uniformly, fairly, and very firmly by the school administration with the support from all the relevant people, it will assist the students and everyone in the community. So, welcome.
Okay, I'm Alex Guantai, the school president of Nkubu High School, and today we would like to welcome everybody to the launch of the first ADA policy in Nkubu High School. It started as an initiative of the students that is mostly engineered by the student council, and that is with partnership with the school administration, and that is when the student is trying to evaluate the effects of drug and substance abuse, and therefore that is when it became widely accepted that drugs are bad in Nkubu High School, and therefore all the students accepted that this is a policy that is going to change the lives of many. Mostly because our students, most of them have been lost in alcohol and drug abuse. Even those who are out there in the out world, most of them have been destroyed. Some have joined high school, but they have been unable to complete their studies because of these drugs. Therefore, this policy, it started as a policy of Nkubu High School, and even now it is. But we would like it to be enrolled even out there for the other schools, even for other students, for our youngsters, even those below the age of 18, so that at least it is going to help us. Because for us to achieve Vision 2030, these are the initiatives that we need to come up with, because we cannot breed morons, people who abuse drugs and so on, and expect that we are going somewhere. So it is important that even the nation at large accept this, so that at least we can breed a good generation that is able and ready to change the lives of Kenyans.
I'm Geoffrey Muranki Jogu. I'm a teacher at Nkubu High School, also a member of the ADA committee, and also the chief of student welfare. And the drug policy was mainly an initiative or principle after we realized that there was high prevalence of alcohol and drug abuse, especially the local brews that were really affecting the discipline of our students in school, also their performance and also their character as young people. So and drug and policy and drug and alcohol policy was really meant to try and minimize and if it's possible to control the cases of drug and abuse in school, because you know that young people are the key pillars in the society, and as you can see in our country, young people are really dying because of alcohol, illicit brew or the local brew, mungacha and others. But with this kind of policy, it will assist us in the society to try and minimize the cases of ADA. So I think our principal took the best initiative. This is the best initiative in our society, and we urge other schools to do the same so as to be able to fight this vice, because it's a serious vice. You know, our forefathers did a lot in the African traditional society. They did a lot to fight the case of drug abuse, whereby young people are not supposed to take any alcohol. Even our county itself, whereby Mira is grown, young people are not supposed to take Mira. But as you can see today, especially the areas where Mira are being grown, young people are dropping out of school because of use of Mira, and also it has other social effect. So this policy was mainly meant for the student, so as to make sure our school is a drug-free environment. Thank you.
Morning. I'm Dennis Moyoni from Form 4 2014. I'm a candidate here. I've been in this school for 4 years. Since I was in Form 1, when I was here, there were some students who were abusing the drug. But since the principal, Mr. Nyaga, started the ADA hunt, he at least caught some people and took them to rehabilitation, and it helped them. Since then, the drug and substance abuse has reduced in this school, and this ADA launch that's happening today, 27th of September 2014, I think it will help the students at least cope with the problem with drugs if they're involved, and if they're not involved, they will have ways in which they'll be able to abstain and advise their fellow members or candidates or students in other schools to abstain from them. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Tevin Mureni from 4D. It's my 4th year here in Nkubu High School. Since I was in Form 1 in 2011, there's been this problem of students taking drugs. It is true, it was in our school. I saw it myself with my 2 eyes. And since when our principal, Mr. Nyaga, started this program and introduced this policy, it has helped a lot of students, because most of the students were taking drugs when they were at home, even here in school. And now would like this day to be a history event that will help each and every youth in our country, from our county, even here in our division, and even the whole world. Thank you.
The CEO of Nkubu High School, my friend, Mr. Nyaga. Ikikabasana wa Pindu, the Senator of Meru County, Kiriwaitu Murungi. Ikikabasana wa Pindu, the Chairman of Nakada, the one and only John Mutula. High School manze imeenda digital hadi kaka yetu ikikapanga. Guess what? Inadaisha chumvi na unataki ume no. Msema USP. Awachanga kukua Antrada. We love good education and discipline. Mr. Nyaga will not be the principal of this wonderful school. How would he live? Applaud, he cannot command and teach. My brothers, students of Nkubu High School, embrace good morals, be disciplined, say no to drugs, say no to alcohol, say no to terrorism, be victors and not victims. If you listen to this worthy message that has brought joy to children, yes, you will be better students, better citizens, great sons to your families and honorable leaders. Let me advise you, students of Nkubu High School. It is not enough to do when you have the ability to dream, innovate and create world-changing ideas. It is all about attitude, my kind of attitude. To the concourse, I wish you all a good success in your exam. Pass well in your offer, straight A's. Thank you, Nkubu High School. God bless you.
Our guest of honor, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, at this juncture, kindly allow me to usher you into the face of the speeches. And at this time, kindly join me in putting our hands together as we welcome our principal, the CEO of Nkubu High School, as he leads and ushers in with his speech.
I will very kindly request Mr. Silas Kinywa to come forward. Mr. Kinywa is the chairman of this committee that came up with the draft, with the draft and the final policy document that we are launching today. So Mr. Kinywa will come and run you through the document so that everybody is aware of what we are talking about as Nkubu High School.
Thank you very much, our principal, our guest of honor, Minister of Education officials here present, Nakanda, principals and head teachers, colleague teachers, parents, students, ladies and gentlemen. God is good. God is good. And all the time. Yes. It is evident that our country and indeed the world at large is facing a major challenge on how to combat the ever-menacing scourge of alcohol and drug abuse. Kenya has over the years been an attractive transit route for illicit drugs, many of which have found their way into the country targeting the youth. According to Nakanda, in their report titled Rapid Situation Assessment of Centers of Drugs and Substance Abuse in Kenya, they say 1 in 3 students is reported to have ever used 1 or more drugs at one time or another. The impact of alcohol and drug abuse in an institution of learning, also one dealing with adolescents, is far-reaching. This is because these are people in a transitional stage of their lives characterized by curiosity, peer pressure, identity crisis, and a host of other risky factors. All these risk factors make the youth highly vulnerable to indulgence in alcohol and drug abuse. This policy document that we are launching today has been drafted based on procedures drawn from the guidelines published by Nakanda in June 2009 in the document titled Guidelines for Developing Workplace Alcohol and Drug Abuse Policies. A policy should be a guide that provides parameters for decision making and action. This policy document has been written in the simplest language possible that will be easy for everyone covered in its scope to understand. It has 8 sections. The first section is the introduction, which has got 5 parts. One of them being a policy review, which is actually a plot of the policy document. The second one being background information, which is justification of the need for this policy in this school. Thirdly, the introduction also has 5 SMART objectives which this policy seeks to achieve. One of them being creation of awareness on the harmful effects of ADA, to provide a mechanism for managing ADA cases through early detection and intervention, and also to enable the students and members of staff in this school to understand the responsibilities and the consequences of getting involved in alcohol and other controlled substances. Also, we wish to aim at creating and maintaining an alcohol and drug-free environment with healthy and productive students and staff. We shall also seek to regularly monitor and review the implementation and progress of this policy. Most importantly also, the introduction covers the scope. The scope of this policy has got only 4 entities. That is all the students of Nkubu High School, all members of staff, all school suppliers and service providers, school visitors, stakeholders, and parents of Nkubu High School. It also has guiding principles. An example being this one which we have today of partnership and collaboration with government agencies like Nakanda and all other progressive partners. The second part is a situational analysis. And we have taken the situational analysis in 3 main parts. The first one being a global approach, the second one being for our country, and the third being for general Kenyan secondary schools. The global one, we have greatly looked at the World Drug Report of 2013, which reveals that East Africa is fast emerging as a transit route for both cocaine and heroin. The spillover effect of the increased trafficking of drugs through Africa is a great concern. For the Kenyan part, we have looked at the Nakada Strategic Plan for 2009 to 2014, which estimates that alcohol and drug abuse is highest among the Kenyan adults between the ages of 15 years and 29 years. They say, and it is true, that drug abuse among the youth in Kenya has become a terrible scourge, affecting parents, children, teachers, government officials, and all taxpayers. In the situation of Kenyan secondary schools, we have considered, among others, a policy document which was given by Nakana in 2011 on the role of school environment in alcohol and drug abuse among students in public secondary schools in Nairobi. We have said drug abuse among students is widespread and spells danger not only for the youth who abuse the drugs, but also for the well-being of our nation. Students abuse drugs regardless of the type of school they attend, although the tendency to do so is high in boys' schools as compared to mixed-day secondary schools and girls' schools. A variety of drugs are abused by students, with most common being alcohol, bangi, and tobacco, in that order, all of which are easily available and locally produced. We have also looked at our own case study as a school in Nkubu High School, following a disturbance we had in August 2013. We carried out an investigation on alcohol and drug abuse in the school, and the investigation revealed that all our students had knowledge of alcohol and drug abuse existence in the school. And this is one of the links that informed the formation of this policy, for which we have seen great change since we started piloting this policy. The third part is how we can be able to recognize substance abuse in those who are abusing them. Therefore, this one has got one, the part for signs and symptoms for those who are in ADA, and the second one being long-term effects of 4 most commonly abused drugs, among them alcohol, bank, and miraa. The policy guidelines is the fourth component of this policy. And these policy guidelines are: one, guidelines on alcohol and drug abuse. Second one being a policy guideline on testing. And in testing we have three main parts. One of them being the predisposing factors for testing, whereby we have one of the predisposing factors being reasonable suspicion, in case there is reasonable doubt for that. The second one being random testing, which can be carried out randomly. And also, testing can be done on any students who test positive for the first random test. They can also have testing done randomly after there is a disturbance. Then there is also a policy guideline on expenses, that all expenses which are incurred during testing will be borne by either the parent of the student or the staff member in question. The fourth one, and very important, is that we shall observe confidentiality as we disseminate the results of that testing. Then the next component, which is actually the fifth, is prevention and intervention strategies. And the prevention strategies include: one, introduction of essential life skills as a subject, which we have done. Then we have also increased security and surveillance. Then we also endeavor to sensitize parents at all times when we have an opportunity. And we also have integrated modes of awareness, like during assemblies, during class meetings, during clinic days, and all other times when we have an opportunity. We also have intervention strategies, because those who have been identified, they should not be thrown out of the school, but they should be assisted to come out of the problem, because ideally they are very important human beings with image and likeness of God. And these are two. One, through spiritual therapy. We are happy that we have a very good chaplain who can take care of that. And also, we also endeavor to give guidance and counseling to the students who have been affected. The third component of this is referral for treatment and rehabilitation to areas or institutions that are specialized in doing this treatment, and also offering rehabilitation to those who are affected. The sixth part is that each one of us here has got a responsibility. We either have a corporate or individual responsibility. So the first one is the part of responsibility for the student, or I as a staff member, each person in his own capacity. Then the second one is the responsibility I have as a member in the group. That means there's a collective responsibility for us as classmates, for the students, and also colleagues in the school. Then there is also a very important responsibilities for the parents have been specified, so that every parent knows it is important for him or her to know how his child behaves at home, and if he or she has any of the signs to be upset. In this case, they are dealing with boys, but he or she, because boys and girls, they are all our children, where they are in different schools. Then also there is a responsibility for the school administration, especially to ensure that this policy is implemented as it is written. Then the second component is the breach of the policy, the penalties that are going to follow breach of this policy. And the breach of the policy will include growing, manufacturing, trafficking, sale, possession, consumption of prohibited drugs, drug paraphernalia, and substances within the school premises. Also, it will be a breach of the policy when a student reports to school, or I as a work here reports to school while under the influence of alcohol and drug abuse. That, and very important, is failure to submit to a drug testing process when one has been officially requested to do so. It will also be a breach of the policy if any member stigmatizes any member of the school who is undergoing rehabilitation. The last component of this policy is how the policy is being implemented. The first part of the implementation was the sensitization schedule. We sensitized students, members of staff in May. We also sensitized members of the DOD in May still. We sensitized all parents the day when we were here on the 1st of May. We received the first draft policy, which we expect that we went through it, and actually we got feedback from you. And also on 5th of August, we sensitized the members of the county government. We also intend and plan to to have an efficient monitoring and evaluation system so that this policy is progressively updated as we continue with its implementation. Then the last part of that implementation is a window for policy review, that this policy provides continuous research in the area of work with drug abuse among students in secondary schools because of the ever-changing dynamics of drug trafficking and drug abuse. Clearly, ADA is a problem which we need to address in all segments of society. Copper's community is not an exception. It is simple and naive to believe that ADA and its potential does not exist. They do exist, here we have admitted, and if there is abuse, hence there is need for this policy document. I make a simple analogy. Counterfeit money looks like real money. You can only tell the difference when you look at the fine details. Crooks bring counterfeit money to cheat people. Drug and alcohol abuse works in the same way. It doesn't produce real joy, but just counterfeit joy and counterfeit pleasure. If one abuses drugs or gets drunk, or he or she feels great for a while, that effect will go away in a short time, and at that time one will be back to real life, and the challenges which were there will still be there. The virtue joy effects are worthless because it is an empty wave of emotions. Drug addicts and alcoholics never find true love joy until they kick off the abuse. As long as they keep taking the drugs and getting drunk, their life remains a very big lie. Substance abuse during adolescence is the single most predictive factor for adult drug dependence. Given the harmful effects of ADA and the destruction of lives, families and communities, there is a felt need to find a common ground in making our schools drug-free. It must be found at all fronts, in our homes, which are very important, in our churches, in schools, in workplaces, in the streets, and everywhere, so that this aim is achieved. Our pupils and students must always be reminded the ABC of life. A being for avoid, B being for bad, and C being for company, and D being for daily. Therefore, here all of us, and especially our young ones, must avoid bad company daily. This will inculcate values in our students that will enable them to be responsible, hardworking, self-respecting, and when they join universities, they will be productive human beings in those particular institutions, which will ensure that our society will also get good graduates who are sober, healthy, prolific in various sectors of our society in order for us to be able to grow our economy. In addition to having successful people as a community, we shall also be able to achieve the Millennium Development Goals, the Kenyan Vision 2030, and the current SDGs, that's Sustainable Development Goals, that are being implemented. Thank you very much. May God bless us all.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, let me take this opportunity first and foremost to welcome you all to our great school. We feel greatly honored by your acceptance to attend the launch of our first policy on alcohol and drug abuse for our school. Mr. Guest of Honor, sir, the crafting of this policy was born out of the realization that alcohol and drug abuse in our schools is a sad reality and that it is prevalent in the majority of the same. Very unfortunately, we, the children's minders, from the parents to the teachers, have elected the wrong approach that is burying our heads in the sand. I can say without fear of contradiction, and of course without any apologies to make, that abuse of alcohol and drugs by our youth has a direct bearing on unrest, destruction of property, murder, suicide, rape, dismal performance in national exams, and a myriad of other societal evils being witnessed in our country. Nonetheless, it is not enough to condemn those afflicted by alcohol and drug abuse. If they could, they most definitely would disentangle themselves and continue living their normal lives. Very unfortunately, it is not an easy affair, and thus they require an external hand. The policy we are launching here today, on a guest of honor, is one such effort to try and give those in our community caught in the web of alcohol and drug abuse a second chance in life. Most importantly, it is envisioned that the policy will play a critical preventive role through drug demand and reduction. This country will not achieve the global Millennium Development Goals and the much hyped Vision 2030 if we don't put our best foot forward and gather the necessary courage to confront this monster, alcohol and drug abuse, that threaten the future of this great nation through our children, who constitute the most vulnerable section of the population. According to Transform Drug Policy Foundation, the global war on drugs has been fought for 50 years and the war is still on. Sadly, scanty success stories can be told in regard to this war because of the overt interests from key players in the global society. While some of us walk the talk, there are others who are pulling in the opposite direction, sacrificing innocent lives at the altar of greed, quick riches, and myopic parochial interests. It is no wonder thus that wars against polio and even HIV and AIDS have recorded remarkable successes as opposed to the war against alcohol and drug abuse. Nevertheless, as a school, we have chosen to shout from the rooftops as we join the anti-drugs family in confessing that alcohol and drug abuse is the singular impediment to our focus to achieve the set national development targets through our youth in our learning institutions. Our desire to create a drug-free school through this initiative is clearly anchored in our school strategic plan 2009 to 2013, the Constitution of Kenya under 53 Part 1D, and the relevant biblical teachings on the sanctity of life and the guidelines for developing workplace alcohol and drug abuse policies of June 2009 by NACADA. Besides, the UN Convention on the Rights of the Child is the core international treaty setting out a comprehensive set of rights for the protection of the child, which includes protection from drugs as highlighted in Article 33. It prescribes a multifaceted approach to protect children from illicit use of narcotic drugs and psychotropic substances as defined in the relevant international treaties, and to prevent the use of children in the illicit production and trafficking of such substances. While addressing the nation with his wife, the former President of the United States of America, Ronald Reagan, on 14th of September 1986, indicated that drugs are a menace in the society and that it is killing our children. Both launched a massive campaign against drug abuse in schools, workplaces, and communities. They focused on the damage drugs were inflicting throughout the country and they coined a "Just Say No" slogan. Just Say No slogan. This goes to show that this war did not begin yesterday, and that no society is spared by the scourge that ADA or alcohol and drug abuse has now become. The threat, we must appreciate, is not confined to a particular region. It cuts across creed, race, social strata, and age. As a people, we should demand of ourselves nothing less than an end to this problem. Otherwise, at this rate, it's just a matter of time, and we will soon find ourselves declaring alcohol and drug abuse a national disaster. In fact, according to Mr. Nelson Marwa, the Coast County Commissioner, he said yesterday, the youth will be wiped out in 5 years if the leaders do not take a stand against drugs. At this juncture, I would like to thank His Excellency the President of this great nation, Uhuru Kenyatta, for promising that in future he will do more to protect the upcoming generations. While addressing the coastal residents after the destruction of a ship carrying heroin worth 1.3 billion Kenya shillings, he says, and I quote, "We will not allow drug barons to destroy the future of our young people." As a school, we concur with our president and sincerely feel that alcohol and drug abuse is to be blamed for cutting short the academic and professional dreams of thousands of our young people in and out of our learning institutions. I thank the Board of Management and PTA for electing to invest in a fairly beautiful, learner-friendly environment at Nkubu High School. We are improving and putting up new infrastructure. We outsource security, and soon we shall install CCTV cameras if the board approves. The school is not really bushy, and we did away with some old, ugly, disused Mabati structures, which was a hideout for criminal gangs who engaged in drug abuse. We have neatly fenced off the school land to stem inclusion. We have established a health unit and employed a full-time school nurse. Significant effort has been made by the school to landscape and beautify the same. We engage our students in a rigorous teaching and learning processes that is followed by objective evaluation and feedback. Channels of communication are available for both the board and the community. There is frequent fruitful engagement between our students and those from neighboring schools for symposia and general bonding, especially with the girls. This is besides a wide range of recreation, sports, entertainment, and excursions. This is all in the belief that an idle mind is the devil's workshop. My sincere gratitude goes to NACADA under the strong stewardship of the chairman of the board of directors, Honorable John Muturo. For the short time you have been at the helm, you have turned things around, and indeed you are turning the heat on the drug barons. Your organization has become more proactive, innovative, and abrasive as the situations demand, and the gains are out there for all of us to see. It is in the public domain that the fight against alcohol and drug abuse has not been a walk in the park for you. We deeply appreciate the pains you have had to contend with, and sincerely thank our President and our Parliament for supporting you. We are feeling the same heat also, but the history will judge us all accordingly. The partnership displayed here today as we launch this policy is a clear manifestation of your desire to work with the youth directly to conquer this slippery monster. While on a visit recently to our office, I remember telling you that it is futile running around after old people engaged in alcohol and drug abuse, and that it was easier and less costly targeting our little ones in school through advocacy and life skill lessons. The old ones are clueless and lost already, as they did not benefit from quality leadership and the protection that we are prepared to offer to the little ones in our school today. Besides, we will also be sure of providing quality education for sustainable development in line with the vision and mission of the Ministry of Education. School principals need not run after drug peddlers, as this is not within their mandate. We only need to invest more in what I'm recommending here, as the impact will definitely be felt. Mr. Guest of Honor, sir, we are very much aware of the provision of the UN Convention on the Right of the Child, and as we embark on implementing this policy, we want to commit to everyone, we want to commit ourselves to everyone, that all actions taken will be in the interest of the child as highlighted in Article 3. It is clearly indicated in our open drug abuse policy that users will not be condemned or criminalized, but will be taken through a comprehensive process of counseling and rehabilitation. This is in the earnest belief that there is no compost pit to dump bad children, bad in quotes and quotes. There is no compost pit to dump bad children. And I want to add, there is no school out there to transfer children who have been identified to be using drugs. It is the responsibility of our schools to come up with innovative strategies of helping these children after clearly understanding the background and the reasons why in the first place they got into this problem. Finally, sir, I wish to draw the attention of all those who are present that the scope of this outward drug abuse policy is quite clear. It targets Nkubu High School family only, and not the community out there. I've just said that it is not within our mandate to check how people behave out there, but we have an obligation to ensure that our children behave in the right manner within the school. We kindly request that members of this family who may have ulterior motives to desist from meddling and obstructing our noble intention on the child and our child and the play safe talking games. It must be clearly understood that this war against alcohol and drug abuse by Nkubu High School is not a war against Tusker, Muratina, tobacco, tea, miraa, or any other substance that may have been listed by recognized bodies as drugs. It is a war against use or abuse of narcotics and psychotropic substances by underage children, not adults. We are not bothered. Nonetheless, we shall with all humility invite other institutions of learning from primary to the university to take more proactive measures like we are doing today to address this common challenge of alcohol and drug abuse. The effort by Nkubu High School shall only be a drop in the ocean if it is not replicated around the country. At this juncture, I would like to appeal to the government, to the Ministry of Education and NACADA to identify and recommend for schools a testing kit that can be used to determine the presence of dangerous addictive substances in all our institutions in Kenya. This could be used the way we use metal detectors as long as the integrity of the child is not abused and all legal parameters are addressed. It may help in scaring our young people from entertaining dangerous and costly habits. Finally, ladies and gentlemen, as an institution, we are more than willing to share our experiences and expertise with other institutions willing to draw similar policies for their schools. This is biblical. You don't light a lamp and hide it under the bed. Thank you. May God bless us all as we belabor to secure the children for a prosperous future. God bless you.
German PTA Nkubu High School, Bwana Jora Mwenda to address this gathering. Bwana Mwenda, tumkaribishe kwa makofi tafadhali.
Elected leaders, ladies and gentlemen, we are happy to be here today for the reason that I think we are the first secondary school in the Republic of Kenya to launch this policy. That is a great achievement, and I must congratulate our teachers, led by the principal, for the good work that they have done. We will clap for them. We can talk about free primary and secondary education. But if we don't have children, pupils and students who go to school, what is the use for having it? Today, we have lost a lot of young people. In some areas, we don't have young people, and we hear stories of schools closing because they don't have students. What is the purpose of free primary and secondary education? If we leave this drug and substance abuse problem unaddressed, in 5 years, we might lose as many as 50% of the schools in Kenya. Many of us would assume that that is a problem of the government. The government has put in place measures to enable us prosper. What are we doing? We have the free education, we have free secondary education, we have the children to attend those functions. Parents must take their responsibilities and take them seriously. And on behalf of the parents of Nkubu High School, I want to assure you that we will leave no stone unturned to ensure that all the students adhere to the policy, whether in school or at home. And we subscribe to the measures that are being taken to ensure that our children are drug-free. One of the things that has happened over our own time is that we are around the culture of impunity. That culture must die. We cannot have students taking drugs with impunity. We cannot have parents throwing hands and telling us that that is the problem of the schools. Everybody must play his part. I was telling the principal this morning that recently I traveled to Sweden. And if a child is found to be abusing drugs, the parent is in more trouble than the child, because that constitutes child neglect. We need to do a lot. We also need to invest more on facilities and institutions to help our children. Today in this country, we don't have any government-run rehabilitation schools. But the Education Act says if a child is unable to be rehabilitated in school, he should be sent to a rehabilitation school. So if we are unable to rehabilitate one or two, where do we send them? County governments must be able to put up facilities that will be able to rehabilitate those who cannot be done so in school. So again, it's a challenge that the county governments now have quite a bigger responsibility. They must wake up to the reality that certain percentage of their areas, drug and alcohol abuse is a problem. And therefore they put measures that will be able to help schools manage cases that are serious. If we bury our hand in sand, after 5-10 years, the results will be disastrous. The young men here will have left, will not have been able to run their normal lives, and a lot of other things will happen. We shall have more crime, we shall have more sick people, etc., etc. And this again will be a strain. The very few who will be working hard, they will have to pay taxes in order to sustain those who are in difficult situations. So it is our responsibility to ensure that we ensure all our children are able to transit from primary, secondary, the university as early as possible. You've been told that alcohol and drugs kill. I have attended many funerals of my friends going to bury young men and girls, young boys and girls who have died of drug abuse. Some of them you have read in the newspapers, senior government officers. So the drug problem does not spare anybody. Whether your father is a minister, an MP, or a farmer in the village, you can find yourself in a problem. And the consequences are all the same. And when you die, you shall come and say you are a good person. Actually, the many funerals I've attended, only one parent was brave enough to tell us that my son died of drug abuse. He was a senior government officer and he was all over the papers. He was the only person who was brave enough to say it. The majority of us would say he was sick and he fell down the ditch and he hit his head and died. And would run away from the real issue. Drug and substance abuse is not a stigma anymore. Just like HIV/AIDS, it's no longer a stigma. We are here with it, we must be able to confront it, and those of us who have known or experienced situations of drug and substance abuse among the youth must be able to come out strongly and ensure that as many youth as possible do not venture into drugs. On a principle, the issue of CCTV is not for debate. I can assure you when you bring it to the board will approve and the parent will finance it. It is for their own good. If you go to Nairobi today, you have cameras everywhere. You can't hide. If you go to Mombasa, you have cameras everywhere. If you go to any big building, there are cameras everywhere. So, a school having CCTV surveillance is good enough. 800 young men is a worthy investment. It will be a little amount of money. And I assure you, the parents will be delighted to fund it. To the parents, look at the policy and they see your part. You are responsible for your son or your daughter the day you close school. Take your responsibility seriously. Find out where your children go, who they socialize with. You have been told by Bolim from Naivasha that some of them may not have used the drug, but the company they work with makes them passive abusers. Let your children work with the right company, let them be in the right places, and let them avoid being in the wrong company, where the force. You have a few months. This policy will not help you. When you leave the gate, when we close this year, if you are found with the bangi, the only person who will be talking to you is a policeman. So I believe you have read the policy, you know what it means, and when you leave that gate, you will not call your parents to tell them that askari ameniwekelea. Because from November, you will be a citizen like me. If you make a mistake, there will be no more nenda leta mzazi. It will be ingia cell. And after that you see a man called a judge or a magistrate. And from there, your life becomes a bit miserable. I hope you read the policy and you'll be able to know how to make the right choices. Recently, we had a workshop with the Director of Children's Services, and we appreciate that a lot needs to be done in order to help children. And we are discussing the plight of children between Form 4 and the university and what should happen to them. Between Form 4 and the university, a lot of things can go wrong. So I advise you to use your better judgment. You have been in a great school, you have been taught responsibility, you have been taught how to make choices. Please, make the right choices, and you will be a happy citizen. If you reflect, you realize that people die of alcohol, people die of taking drugs, and people even die of eating food. But I've never heard of somebody who has died of working hard. So I advise students, work hard. That is the safest place where you will not die. If you overheat, you become obese and you can die. If you take drugs or alcohol, the same happens. But if you work very hard on your studies, it is unlikely that you will die because you read too much. But advise you to work hard to achieve the purpose or to attain the grade that you envisaged when you came to this great school. As I always say, if you go out there looking for a job and the students from Kasibu, Kabondo Day School and Nkubu High School appear before a panel and you have the same grade, all factors constant, they are likely to select the one from the day school, because coming from a great school, you should have achieved great things. And therefore, you have a greater responsibility and equally you face a greater risk if you don't do well. So, when you leave these grounds, be the ambassadors, tell the others that drugs and substance abuse does not pay. Thank you very much and enjoy your afternoon.
Ili tukaribishe mgeni wa heshima. Naomba tafadhali kindly let us all rise up. Wanafunzi wa Nkubu, this is your day. We are going to welcome our chief.
Watu wa Nkubu, habari gani? Habari gani? I'm glad to be here this afternoon. My name is Wekesa. I work with Nakada. I'm the director in charge of communication. First of all, I want to thank the school community for what they have decided to do and they have accomplished at this day. Tujipigieni makofi. Pili kabisa, I would like to bring my apologies on behalf of the chairman of the Nakada board, Honorable Mutudo. He was supposed to be here and he had confirmed that he'll be here. To the principal, Mr. Nyaga. And so when this morning he told me that he'll not be able to be here, akanipatia viatu kubwa sana kuvaa. I don't think I repeated those shoes at any one time, but I will represent him and pass the small message that he was supposed to pass on. Maybe not so ably, but I'll give it a try. Will you allow me to? Thank you. Now, with me here this afternoon, we have a team of officers from Nakada. I would like them to come. They will not say much. They might not even say, but they will give us their names the NACADA team. So this is the NACADA team from headquarters and from the regional office. Let them say their name and a description of themselves, let them sit. Good afternoon. Habari zenyu? Watu wa Nkubu hamjambo? Naitwa Masharia, regional manager na NACADA, na nimesikia kwamba eneo hili ambalo ni langu mnanihitaji sana ili tufanye kazi pamoja. Nataka kuahidi kwamba tutaweka mikakati ya kutosha ili tuweze kupambana na jambo hili ambalo linatusumbua sisi wa Kenya na hata kila mahali. Sote tunajua ya kwamba mkoa wetu na hasa sehemu hizi mambo ya matumizi ya pombe na madawa ya kulevya imekuwa ni mambo ambayo yanatusumbua sana, na tutashirikiana na vitengo vyote vya serikali ili tuweze kupigana na jambo hili, ili tuweze kuimarisha maisha ya watu wa eneo hili. Asanteni sana, maana leo sio siku yangu, nitampisha mwenzangu ili pia ajitaje na ajieleze kwa kifupi. Asante.
Habari zenyu wanafunzi. Naitwa Alice Mwangi. Mimi ni program officer na nafanya katika hili region. Asanteni.
Habari zenu. Majina naitwa Edwin Maina. Nafanya kazi na shirika la NACADA ofisi ya Nyeri. Asanteni.
Habari ya mchana wakazi wa Meru. Kwa majina najulikana kama Josephine Akisa. Nafanya kazi na NACADA based at the headquarters for department ya programs. Asanteni.
Habari zenu wakati wa Nkubu. Majina yangu naitwa Francis Munyi. Nafanya kazi na hii shirika la NACADA na Nairobi.
Habari zenu. Mimi naitwa Madenge Gishuhi, nafanya na NACADA head office Nairobi.
Thank you. Na mimi naitwa Peter Mwoki kutoka na NACADA head office Nairobi.
My name Samuel Kama. Work for NACADA from headquarters.
Asanteni timu ya NACADA au ndio ambao tumeambatana nao siku ya leo. Wengine tunafanya kwenye hiyo track na public awareness, wengine wako headquarters offices na wengine kutoka regional office iko based hapa Nyeri. Kwanza kabisa nitakuwa wa kwenda haraka na kwa ufupi kwa vile mambo mengi ambayo ningependa kusema yashaongelewa na wale ambao wameongea mbele yangu. Most of what I would have liked to say has already been talked about ably by the speakers who spoke before me. However, I would like to pass my very, very sincere congratulations and appreciation to the school board. The initiative of coming up with that policy on alcohol and drug abuse prevention is such a noble idea. It has not been done before in any other school. So Nkubu High School, you are the first, you are noble, and you are very much a step ahead. You may clap for yourself. The PTA of this school, the parents, and the community around here supporting the school, the teaching fraternity, and you, the students, have done really a lot. From the interactions I've had with the principal, it has been a long way, but quite a supportive venture for you to have met to come up with that policy document that I am very sure it will make you proud. It has seen some of the neighboring schools to come and join you during this launch. It it means they are looking up to you and they learn something from you. So the parents, the community, and the students take Okweno. The county government of Meru, you are represented here really ably. You have spoken very, very big words of wisdom, and we are really encouraged for some of us who come from different counties. Within Meru County, you are doing very well. The member of the county assembly, he had very, very apt message for us as Nakada. I will pass that message. I will pass it to Honorable Mutudo, that we do not want stories in Meru. We do action. And I believe that one of the actions we have tried to do on his behalf is actually to come and be with you here today, participate in this launch and support the interventions thereof. I also thought to mention the county education office. They have done well, they have spoken here very well, and we are glad that we are able to come also to join with us. Same to the national government offices represented at the county level, here. The media, the campaign against alcohol and drug abuse cannot go far without the media. I would like to thank you for just making time to be here. I'm told we are so much on the media, but I think for us it's one of the easiest ways to reach far and wide, to pass that message on alcohol and drug abuse prevention. The media is very important. So thank you, media, for coming by. I'm not giving a vote of thanks, but just appreciating that you could make it, isn't it? On the policy itself, having read through that policy, we find there are some very, very key provisions there that are unique to our school environment and that they will go a long way in helping the student fraternity, the teaching fraternity, and everybody in the school here to make a big leap, kind of, in terms of prevention and management of drug abuse issues in the school. I am very sure most other schools are going to want to benchmark on what you have done, because that's the best practice. It's really appreciated. The provision for referral on counseling, it is a very, very good thing, and we want to appreciate the school for having provided that. Because the students, I'm very sure you need more counseling than punishment when it comes to drug abuse issues. And also, in terms of providing for mechanisms, you know, I read in the policy, mechanisms whereby the students who are found having possession of drugs, they are not taken out there to law enforcement, but instead they are supported within the school administration. As Nakada, I'm very sure, and we have done this before, we will provide the support that we can. We will provide, for example, IC materials to be stocked in the libraries at Nkubu High School. We came with that consignment and we have already passed it on. We will also wish that other schools in the neighborhood, in this county, let me say, you could come together. If you wish support from Nakada in that direction, write to us, either to the headquarters or through the regional office in Mary, and we will give you that support. We will also want to do joint programs with the school, all the schools in the region, for in terms of training of counseling staff, the teachers who have identified themselves in that field. We will be glad to provide training for that. Also, annual sensitizations for schools during sporting days, during ball games, during drama festivals, during outdoor activities, club activities. We'll be so glad if you call us and we will join you in doing that. As Nakada, we also want to promise that we will lobby with the Ministry of Education. The county directors are here. We will want to lobby with them so that the policy on drug abuse prevention, not just to remain here in Nkubu, but it is something that can be mainstreamed and taken up by the ministry so that it is disseminated as a best practice to other institutions of learning throughout the country. We will try to lobby that at those levels. We will also wish to lobby the county governments. They have spoken here. Mr. Mburugu started, and the others who have said so, to prioritize some of the anti-drug abuse public awareness in learning institutions as part of the county social services. I'm so glad Madam talked about Alcoholic Drinks Control Act, which has already been passed, and it has specific provisions on drug abuse prevention targeting the youth. That is a very big move, Madam. We are so glad about that, and I'm sure with the implementing of that act, a lot will be achieved. Test kits for schools. Somebody mentioned about test kits for school. It's been a debate. I don't know how far it is from where I sit. I don't have that information, but the debate has been about the morality of the same, the legality, the constitutionality of the same. However, that debate is still going, and we hope at one time it will be concluded. Let's see what will happen to that. But lastly, that I was given a message to pass to the chairman, which I'll pass on, that action needs to be done more. So we want to see more grassroots engagements, and I would like to assure Nkubu High School fraternity here that I'll pass that message, and basically more will be done, especially with NACADA in partnership with the local partners. I wouldn't want to say more than that. We came here for the launch. I think we can now prepare to launch that document so that the parents who joined us from far and wide can have space to go back to their respective homes. The guests who have also come from far and wide can prepare to go back to their respective destinations. So, Principal, I think we can take this opportunity to proceed with the launch if they are ready. I'll be guided through this.
Yeah, so distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, this is the moment now of launching our policy. We'd like to invite all stakeholders. We have the PTA here, we have the education fraternity. We'd like to invite the political wing, the county government as well, so that it is a collective activity. This is a Nkubu High School, but we are saying it shall be replicated, and it is winning support from across the board. The board of management is here, the PTA is here, the school community. We'd like to invite the president of the student council. President of the student council, please. It's historical. Where is the president of the student council? Okay, as he comes, we'll have the guest of honor cutting the tip. Yes, the president and a few other members of the student community. We will have you, Bwana Wekesa, from NACADA, leading us in cutting the tip, and also wrapping, so that we are going to reveal what is inside there, and then display the booklet to members of this gathering. from wherever. Yes. Mr. Wekesa here cutting the tape. That is wrapping the box in which the policy documents are contained. We only forgot to bring along the history so that we show where we are coming from to where we are going. There is a big cachet and collection of things that we have been catching with students in the past. And since we started this campaign, actually for the whole of last term, because this campaign has been ongoing, even as we was drafting and scripting the policy, we have not met or caught any student with any contraband items relating to drugs, alcohol, or any narcotic. So I think it is something to really applaud. So Bwana Wekesa there opening the box that is containing the policy documents. Thank you. So he is now displaying the document, and that is the new or the first policy document on alcohol and drug abuse for Nkubu High School. Makofi zaidi tafadhali. Probably by pronouncement that here henceforth we are launching it.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, it is my pleasure to declare the alcohol and drug abuse school policy for Nkubu High School officially launched.
Thank you very much. And now we would like to invite you, Bwana Wekesa, in a symbolic move, to give a copy to the leadership of the county, that is consequently now going to hand it over to the school in a symbolic gesture, to show a sense of ownership that the county government, the administration, the political leadership. When I talk about the county leadership, I'm talking about our political leaders, even the education fraternity, that is now consequently going to hand it over to the school. Go and be there with the students, the chairman of the drafting committee, the principal. Makofi tukipokea kitabu hiki. Thank you very much. And so now from effect, now the policy takes effect officially. We have been using it kimagendo. We have been piloting. Now it is official for usage. Thank you very much, our guest of honor, and the rest of you. Thank you very much. Ensure you have eaten all the food. Kwamba wazazi, tafadhali, kama umeleta chakula kwa kijana wako, chakula kisisazwe. Chakula kisibaki tafadhali, maanake chakula kikibaki na tupate kujua kwamba kijana wako wako na chakula, itakuwa ni jambo la kufedhehesha sana iwapo huyo mwanafunzi atakufuata kesho sababu ya utovu wa nidhamu. Kwa hivyo tafadhali wazazi, tusiachie watoto chakula chote kiliwe. Let all the food be consumed, please. We also want to request, let our children not be left with mobile phones. Tafadhali. Let our children not be left behind with mobile phones. Tafadhali. Watoto, wanafunzi wetu wasiachiwe simu za rukono. Asante sana na Mungu awabariki. See you officials, please assist us in assembling or rather display.